Hey there, everyone. We're going to talk about working with schools. There's a lot of information that I wanted to cover today, and we're going to be kind of flipping back and forth between your back office tools and a little PowerPoint presentation. Working with schools, this is just some information that I've picked up over the years. I hope you can find a way to apply it in your area because there's so many great reasons to be working with schools. So we're going to talk about why schools, why it's important to work with schools. Just talk a little bit about the lingo because you're going to want to learn what different definitions mean, how to research and then target your particular schools in your area. You're going to want to meet with them eventually and assess their situation. The meeting may be through a virtual means, it may be on site. And you're also going to learn a little bit about how schools work with for-profit providers as well as nonprofit providers. I'm going to teach you how to use the tools in your back office to deliver information and proposals for your customers. We're going to then create that proposal for them. We're going to talk about the registration process and all of the different information the schools are going to need to be able to work with you as a provider to them. And we're going to talk about an MOU, which is another word for Memorandum of Understanding, which is really the agreement between you and the school that says you're going to do this and this is your responsibility and they're going to provide this and that's their responsibility. So really it's just a working agreement for when you're working in schools. So why schools? First of all, there's a huge consistency when you're working with schools. You know, when you're doing individual classes right now and you're posting them on your website and then you start marketing to your list, there's not a lot of consistency there. There is, you hope you get signups and you continuously try to get signups. But with schools, the list is already there and you have a consistent number of students coming to your classes each time you hold them. It's also a very relational type of contract or agreement in providing your service. So you're going to get to meet teachers and parents and principals and other staff members. It's a great way to build those relationships in schools by having an after school program. You're going to get marketing assistance. So if a school brings you on as, excuse me, either an enrichment provider or an after school program of your own, they excuse me, they are going to market you to their parents, which means that you're going to have consistency in terms of marketing and you'll get also be provided steady revenue. So if you're in a class every day from, let's say, Monday to Friday after school from 4 to 6, there's that steady revenue that's constantly coming in. And if that's how you want to run your business, this is a great way to get that steady revenue going. Another benefit is that you're not constantly trying to fill your classes. So if you are doing the traditional method of either single classes or a series of classes or even membership classes online, this is a great way really to not have to constantly market because the students are already there on site and they're coming to you. It's also a great opportunity to branch out to more schools. So one thing I've learned is that a school in a district, if you do a really good job for them, they tell other schools about your service and you can grow very organically to all the different schools within your area. You're also going to meet other students who may be interested in cooking birthday parties, or you might be doing clubs for them. Maybe instead of kids arriving early to school for a free breakfast, they actually enroll in, let's say, a breakfast cooking club where they're not only going to make their own little snack or breakfast every day, they're going to get fed, and it's going to be through an educational program like the one you can offer. So lots of great reasons to work with schools. Some of the lingo that you're going to want to know is, you're going to have to know the types of schools. When I first thought of schools, originally I thought, oh, public elementary schools, but there's so many more schools than that. In fact, if you look down in these notes section, there's daycares and preschools, which is any child below usually the age of 5 or 4 right before they start kindergarten. So daycares and preschools are an area of target if you like that age group. There's public schools, which is what we have a lot of here. There's charter schools, which are like schools of choice. Magnet schools, which really focus on STEAM and STEAM learning. Special education schools, which is children with special needs. So there's specific schools for that. You've got traditional private schools. Then you've got homeschools. Then you've got language immersion schools. You've got boarding schools. You've got Montessori schools. You've got religious schools. So there are already all kinds of types of schools. So you're going to have to try to understand and do some research within your area of your target market and where you kind of want to start. There are some short forms that you might want to know as well. For example, PTA stands for Parent Teacher Association. PTO stands for Parent Teacher Organization. The PTC is your Parent Teacher Committee. Your HSA is your Homeschool Association. And you would be referred to as an OST, an out of school time provider. So these are just some of the different languages that are used within schools. You can look those up online and get better acquainted with that. Then there's also different ways to teach within a school. In-house experience. Do you remember as a kid going off on field trips? Well, an in-house experience is really an in-house on-site field trip. So one of the services you can offer is an in-house experience, which is an on-site in the classroom field trip where you tie together possibly science or math with cooking. You could offer an after-school program. Now, you have to understand that after-school programs come in different forms. If you offered, let's say your business is called Kelly's Cooking Club, and you wanted to offer a full after-school program, then Kelly's Cooking Club could possibly earn a contract to come on site to an elementary school, and you would have just exclusively your program every day for 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and kids would come to your after-school program. But many schools offer what they call enrichment programs. They already have existing after-school programs running. They have staff. They have, daily things that they already do. An enrichment program may be someone like you coming in for 1 or 2 hours a week on a certain day to do an enrichment of cooking classes. And it may mean that you don't teach everybody. It may mean that through a series of questionnaires, parents will sign their children up for your specific program as an outbreak to the existing after-school program. And your program would be called an enrichment program. Now, Liliana Bussin up in New Jersey has really done well in this category where she actually had 5 different enrichment programs running 5 different days of the week, Monday through Friday, where she would go to a different school each day for an hour, hour and a half or so, and provide that enrichment program for those schools. So you just try to understand kind of what the school's needs are and the lingo, and you'll start to get a feel for what it is they're looking for and what they need. Once you kind of have that under your belt, you want to do some research and targeting of your market. So choose an age group. Do you like the preschoolers? Do you like the middle schoolers? Try to figure out the age group that you want to work with. Number 2 is then research all the schools within a 10-mile radius within that age group. So using your computer, your iPad, driving around, going to your websites like your district offices, figure out who all the schools are within the age group you're targeting and start to create, number 3, a spreadsheet, or it could be a piece of paper. You could just be writing it down with the school's names, the contact names, the phone numbers, the emails. This should all be public record. Any of the schools that are out there, maybe other than private, anything that's a public school type setting should have all of those as public records. So you want to start with the principal of the school. You want to work with the science teacher of the school because science is a great into a school because our lesson plans offer science, engineering, math, etc. as a way to complement what they're doing. So that any type of committee, PTO, PTA committees are another good resource. Any type of STEM program or STEAM coordinator, such as in a magnet school, would be a really great contact to share what it is you do. So those are just some of the things you want to do. Make sure you have your target list ready to go, though. Okay. Meet and assess their needs. So in your back office under tools, I'm going to show you where all of these are, but you want to, once you've identified the schools you think you might want to work with, you want to send an introductory email and follow up with a phone call. And this may take several emails and several phone calls. It's not a one and done thing because they're busy, you're busy, and sometimes they just don't get back to you as quickly as you'd like them to. But you're going to have to be brave and just continue to reach out to them until you get a response. I also want you to be aware that school planning is done in advance, and it can be up to 1 year in advance. So what you might be proposing today may not actually go in effect until possibly next year or next school season. So there is some time issues. It's not usually instant with schools, but it can be, but it's not usual. So I just wanted you to be aware of the time differences. When you're meeting with the school and assessing the needs, you want to ask a lot of questions. Don't bring answers to the table that you don't know. Don't say, hey, I can do this great after school program and blah, 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 because you don't know that's what they need yet. You really just want to get a feel for where they might have some gaps, where the kids might be looking, parents might be looking for extra things for their kids to do before school, during school, after school, whether it's clubs or however it's going to work out. You just really want to ask a lot of questions. It says here, use the approaching and planning worksheet. Put yourself in their shoes and listen. This approaching and planning worksheet is actually in your back office under marketing tools. So go to marketing tools, and there are two sections. You're going to find some really great information. The first one is actually business templates and guides, which everybody should have, every instructor should have. And if you've purchased the HHC Kids STEAM zone, you're also going to have this zone as well, which is actually even more information and more materials to teach STEAM. Now, STEAM is actually a very, very good, we have over 100 lesson plans that are designed for science, technology, engineering, arts, math, and medical. Schools like to see that our programs and our lesson plans are aligned with school curriculum, which is what these are. You could certainly use any other lesson plans, kids' lesson plans, but they aren't specifically tied to STEAM necessarily. And to give you an example of a STEAM lesson plan, for example, one of them might be teaching the children how to make a solar oven out of a little box and some tin foil. And this lesson plan teaches you how to teach them how to make a solar oven. But then the students go on to actually make little veggie pizzas in their solar ovens where they add, some sauce to a muffin and add some chopped up ingredients, veggies and so forth. And they actually warm it and cook it in their solar oven. So that's the difference between a cooking class, a regular cooking class, and a STEAM cooking class. You can see there's an element of science tied to it, which schools really, really love. So if you're going to work with schools, I would highly recommend you check out the STEAM lesson plans under lesson plan zones. You'll find the STEAM lesson plans in there. All right, so going to marketing tools and going to business templates and guides, which everybody has access to, there's a lot of content back here. In particular, this one is called the Potential Client Approaching and Planning Worksheet. And this, if I click on it and download it, this is the document that'll help get you started to ask the right questions when you're in a meeting with a school. So go through this document. It tells you a little bit of the stuff you can maybe bring with you the first time you meet with them, just to kind of show them a little sample of what you do. But here's some potential client questions you can ask. You can add your own. You can take meeting notes. You can follow up. But this is just a guideline to get you going with the conversation and just to really get started with how you want to approach the school. There are other tools in your business templates and guides that we're going to refer to, but it's things like, here's a little intro kit that you can maybe download with a little letter and some content that you could show the school in your meeting. You can add a letter from our founder, because if you are using Healthy Hands Cooking lesson plans to get into a school, we actually want you to represent the brand as HHC under your company name. So, hey, I'm Kelly's Kitchen Connections, and I offer Healthy Hands Cooking after school STEAM lesson programs as part of my program. At the end, you're going to have an MOU, which is your facility agreement, memorandum of understanding. And there's some other really good things in here, like email and phone scripts to get your mind going on what you want to say when you book that appointment or follow up with an email. Your proposal template's in here. Again, it's a grab and go. You can add your own logos and your own content to it. Have some sort of student refund and cancellation policy, which we've created for you, which the school is going to need. And then another little teacher letter, learning is the key, which can go in your intro package, which is just a really cool little letter to show them how cooking and nutrition can be tied to school curriculum. All right, so after you've done your needs assessment, you want to understand from the school, when you're talking to them, whether they allow nonprofit providers to offer after-school programs or not. Now, most of our instructors are for-profit providers. If the school says, hey, we only work with nonprofit, this won't work for us, then you have the ability now to get a little bit more creative with what you want to offer the school. Now, if I was trying to get into a school that said, we only work with nonprofits, my first reaction would be, I'm going to go to a local library, I'm going to tell them that I have an opportunity to work with a school, but it has to be through a nonprofit. I would ask for a simple partnership agreement with the local library for them to become the provider as a nonprofit to the school. The money would flow through the library to me as the provider, or the majority of the money. Maybe it's a split of 80-20 or 90-10 or something like that. And the way the library would get involved is that they would provide me or lend me with storybooks to read at the beginning of my cooking class that tie in with the food prep activity. So if I want to teach the kids about the health benefits of pumpkin and we're going to make pumpkin milkshakes, maybe there's a book that the library can provide to me that I can take into the class, and I can start the class with a cute little story time about pumpkins and maybe the health benefits of pumpkins, and then go roll into the cooking class portion. So that's how I would approach a nonprofit situation with a school. But I'm sure there's a million other ways to work with other nonprofits to get in there. So you just have to use your thinking cap. Also, grant money may help cover some of your costs when you're working with schools. So sometimes schools apply for the grant money and then they pay it directly to you because they've received the grant money to help with nutrition programs, obesity programs, health programs, life skills programs such as cooking. And that's awesome because you benefit already. But you can also keep get on a list called govdirections.com. Go ahead and put that into your website URL, look it up and try to get on their list. Because I think every day or every other day, you're going to get a list of all the government grants that come out, and it's all over the map. It could be by state, it could be by topic, it could be, not all of them are going to do health, culinary, cooking, but at least you will get on the daily list and you can stay abreast of what grant monies are becoming available. And that's a good one for you too. And you don't have to be a nonprofit necessarily to get these grants. So being on that list is important, just to kind of see if you can get some extra help. And if the school works with for-profit providers, you're all set because typically you are already a for-profit provider. So that's all you have to know about that. All right, using your tools. So as a member of HHC, we've created a ton of tools in your back office. I've showed you a little blip under marketing tools, business templates, and guides. If you sign up for HHC Kids Club STEAM program, that gives you over 100 different lesson plans for, let me see, where's my 100 for different lesson plans for STEAM. So under lesson plan zones, you would go to STEAM cooking, and then you can go all the way down. You see there's 110 classes. And you can see there's different things: build your best bridge, chickpea counting, toaster heat conduction, getting toasty, cranberry creations, corny math. So there's all kinds of Sprouter House, all kinds of different lesson plans back here that using the power of the sun for cooking. I think we talked about solar ovens, all the different kinds of STEAM lesson plans that tie together science, technology, arts, engineering, math, and medical. And schools really love these different lesson plans because they do tie to the core curriculum. But if you ended up with that, then if you ended up ordering that zone, you're going to end up also with the HHC Kids Club zone that will automatically open up here, HHC Kids Club STEAM. And under HHC Kids Club STEAM, we have a few different things. We've got descriptions of bundles. We've actually taken all of the lesson plans and broken them down by bundles of 10. So if you were to choose, let's say, healthy snacks and smoothies, we've put the 10 healthy snacks and smoothies together. We've put in the core curriculum and how they match up to what the kids are for their age group, so that the teachers can see exactly what you're teaching. And sometimes when you're teaching in-house experiences, those on-site field trips, quite often our curriculum already meets and matches what the teachers are supposed to teach anyway. So it gives them a break because sometimes they don't have to go back and teach a certain unit because you basically taught it through the lens of cooking. So it's actually a really good benefit to teachers to have you in their classroom to teach some of these concepts through the lens of cooking. As well, we have a kids club camp overview and how that would work. So if you were going to run a HHC Kids Club camp, we've got some formats for that. We've got a leader's guide for all of the instructors. We've got how to run a successful after school program with Liliana Bussin, who is one of our leading after school program ladies. How to teach the HHC Kids Club after school STEAM program video is right here. List of all magnet schools. We talked about magnet schools as being STEAM related schools, and they are very open to having programs like this into their schools. It helps separate them from the public schools, and it gives them an element of that science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. The Playworks Playbook is a daily exercise activity book. So it's one of the things that you can incorporate into a daily after school program as part of your movement activity. So if you're teaching these kids every day for a few hours, you're probably not going to spend it all on cooking. You're probably going to spend some time doing exercising. You're going to do some fun time with nutrition. You're going to do some science little things. You're going to, do some the playing time and homework time. So you'll divide it in, but this little book is helpful with all these different activities as well. So we also have a STEAM educator letter and logo that you can use when you're working with schools. You can put that on your proposals. You could put that within your materials that you send to them. And then here's just a sample intro email letter to a school as well. So some really good helpful tools under HHC Kids Club STEAM. All right. I love this quote. Inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. If you want to conquer fear, do not sit home and think about it. Go out and get busy. That's Dale Carnegie. So once you've actually met with the school, you're going to come home and you're going to start to ponder the conversation, look at your notes, and start figuring out exactly what your offering is. What is your pricing structure? Will you need helpers? How big are your classes going to be? How often are your classes going to be? So you're going to start to get your head around what you think your best offering is for the school. While you're in the first meeting, you're not offering them anything. You're just being a good listener and asking a lot of questions. Then you're going to begin to choose the materials that you would put within your program. Of course, I recommend the STEAM lesson plans because they're most aligned with learning in elementary school. And then you're going to create your proposal, and that proposal template is under Marketing Tools Business Templates. And within that proposal, it's going to help include details of fees, late fees, cancellation policies, sickness policies, registration process, payment process, etc. You can pick and choose what you want. You can edit the document. You can put your logo on it. You can, make it to be the logo, the proposal that you want to offer. But it helps you think through all of these different things that you may not have thought through when you're offering a program to a school. And then when you're all ready with your proposal, you're going to attach as well your MOU. When you're ready to send it back to school, you create that proposal. You attach your memorandum of understanding, and then you present that to the school. You can just send it by email or however you want to deliver it, and then wait for them to ask questions back and forth until you've solidified some sort of program for them. So there are 2 additional recordings that if you have access to the HHC Kids Club STEAM program, I'd really like you to take a look at besides this presentation. So again, if you go into the HHC Kids STEAM Club here, it's this video here, how to run a successful after-school enrichment program with Liliana Bussin, and then how to teach the HHC Kids Club after-school STEAM program if you were to do a whole video. These are really, really important enhancement type videos to what this one is right here that I'm showing you. Okay. And lastly, if you have any questions, just post them in our private Facebook instructor group because there's other people that are holding classes in schools, and we could just have a good conversation around this. And then whenever you are presenting HHC materials as part of your after-school program, I'm just asking you to please properly represent the HHC brand. So don't make it sound like Kelly's Kitchen Connections is offering a Kelly Connections after-school program. Kelly's Kitchen Connections is offering a Healthy Hands Cooking after-school program. So just make sure the attribution is provided properly so that your schools know that this is your company, but you are an authorized brand representative and using our materials to actually create and teach the classes. So that's all I have for now. I just wanted to thank you for your time. I hope this helps. And let's review more in our group. Have a great day, everyone. And I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.